Well, we are experiencing inflation in America. You see it in prices everywhere, a phenomenon that makes every dollar worthless. Prices for goods and services skyrocket. We're especially lumber. My goodness, the jokes. Congressman Ralph Norman out of South Carolina, also someone who works in real estate, he's seen this phenomena firsthand. And he has a piece in the Washington Examiner out about it this week. Congressman, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Good to be here, Dana.
What is when I look at all of the factors, we were coming out of the lockdown, the pandemic lockdown, everything seemed to be going really smoothly, considering everything that the country had just gone through. I mean, something in our lifetimes, or really, I'm trying to think in American history, I don't know if we've ever gone through anything like this, where you have the government that kind of seized the ability to generate commerce from business and private individuals. We were doing really well, tax cuts, we were greenlit to just let's reopen, let's have business go back underway. Then the election happened, and then the Biden administration continues to pay people to stay home. Now we have these stories of a labor shortage. What is aside from the promises and the continued government spending and the federal dollars dumping into the system, Congressman, what is the big driver, the other big driver in this whole problem of inflation here right now?
Well, Dana, the biggest problem, this administration is tone deaf and is a big disconnect because they've never been in the private sector. When we all heard Joe Biden whisper, I guess it was yesterday, that, to get labor back, to raise the wages, you've got government paying over $15 or was paying $15.26 an hour for workers to stay at home. And so it's a disconnect with the American people. And you're right, the last 4 years, in spite of all the headwinds that government and the Democrats put in front of President Trump, he succeeded because he understands business. He's in the private sector. The tax cuts that he offered, the accelerated depreciation. I mean, the list goes on and on. But this it's like the faucet got cut off. And it's because of the policies of this administration. The shortages that we're having, lumber you mentioned, is up 400%. And it's
amazing.
It's a
lumber,
crisis.
goods, the cost of everything. And you mentioned, too, paying people to stay home, and then the president's whisper, which was probably one of the funniest sound bites I think I've seen so far in the past several years. But Congressman, the president, he leaned over the podium and he whispered just to pay them more, talking to small businesses, private businesses out there in America, just to pay workers more. This echoes what Jen Psaki said about a month ago during a White House press conference when she was asked about the continued payment coming from the government to people to continue staying at home. And she challenged businesses from right there from her position. She challenged businesses and said, okay, well, they could match what we're paying them. They could pay them more. That's not really how the market operates, though, is it, Congressman?
No, it's not how the real world operates. And every American, you can look at a lot of different factors, but I guess every American took a pay cut with the gas prices. Everywhere I go, I ask, have you been to the pump lately? Have you filled up your car? And what used to cost, in my situation, $50 is now $80. Look at the food that we're paying more for. The trucks that deliver the products to the American people aren't powered by solar panels. They're powered by gas and oil. And, look at what the Consumer Price Index has done. Look at what the shortages have done. I can't talk to all the manufacturers have got shortages in some capacity that we make in China and from other countries. So it's a combination of being out of work for a year and a half for the small businesses, the dollars that they can't print enough money from the federal government to get this economy back going. The thing they can do is which they won't do because they hate the president so much, cut taxes, enact the policies that he had, and cut regulations. The Arizona, the minerals that were mined, the copper, the zinc, they regulating them out of business. So, we've got to have a change in administration at some point, or at least let them, if it gets bad enough, hopefully they'll do something. But they don't understand it.
No, no, they don't at all, and it's fascinating to watch people who never for a single day ever had to meet payroll, never worked in the private sector, taken that risk and owning that private business, that small business, and making these kind of demands. Talking to Congressman Ralph Norman here from beautiful state of South Carolina, this labor shortage narrative, it's not really a labor shortage, is it?
No, it's a combination. I mean, I think a lot of it stemmed from paying the government using our tax dollars to pay them to stay at home. The other thing is people are just not back in the workforce because a lot of the businesses shrank, and they're trying to it's like gasping for breath to get products on the ground and products delivered and build and do their individual the business that made them the most money and made them profitable. But everything combined is it's dire for this country. And, as an example, water heaters, it's a 12-week delay. So goes housing, so goes the economy. And when you combine that with all, the lumber, the things we've talked about, it's a tough situation.
I think I had read that there's several 100,000 homes that have been approved for construction, but they're backlogged. They're still waiting. And just very odd that you mentioned the water heaters. There's a bunch of things that are kind of on back order, so to speak, or you have to wait a lot longer to get because of this perceived labor shortage. Now, the administration came out this week that they're now looking to start at least, I guess, reducing these payments, to stop these payments, and then everyone else is warning that, now we're going to see a big shutdown in the market. There's going to be a lot of problems. We're going to have this, there's going to be a disastrous outcome because of this. I definitely think so. If they keep pushing towards the tax and spend plan, Congressman, which is what I want to ask you about, $6 trillion, first 100 days have been asked for by this administration, and then the American Rescue Plan. They wants to for tax increase and for the gun control plan that he was talking about this week. He wants to take an unspecified amount from the American Rescue Plan, that's our tax dollars, for coronavirus relief, more spending, and use coronavirus relief money for all of these other spending projects. Nothing's offset by a reduction in spending anywhere else.
There are no offsets at all. There's no budget hearings going anywhere. He blames everything on the coronavirus. The rescue plan is anything but rescue plan. And he's using monies that was set aside under the guise of coronavirus, and he's using it to bail out cities that had failed governors and failed policies of the Democrats. And it makes no sense. We've got to pay this money back, and the way it's going now is no end in sight. But for all the programs he's doing, like infrastructure, he says he's pared that down to $1 trillion. The previous plan, 9% of the $4 trillion went to true infrastructure: roads, bridges, broadband. He's bailing out, the cities and adding to government. And God help us when all the immigrants, the 1.5–2 million immigrants that get on the government dole, what that's going to cost this country.